I've told many stories about my embarrassing past, specifically about my freshman year of college, where I tried to completely reinvent myself, and I decided to model my new personality after anime protagonists. I went into the Oblivion character creator and set the slider all the way to cringe. Leaving high school, I was socially shy and I wanted a big change, so I went through this metamorphosis to be born again as a social butterfly, and I chose to emulate mysterious anime protagonists, because I thought it'd help me come out of my shell and people would love it. But honestly, I'm surprised it didn't land me in a padded cell at Arkham Asylum, because I was an absolute fucking weirdo. I have no doubt the students around me probably thought I was a potential threat to the campus. But anyway, I saw this clip today from a new college freshman being interviewed, and it's clear to me that he tried to do something similar to what I did, and it was like looking in a mirror.
For the month of February, we have our new Poet Spotlight, and for this month, we've chosen a new student who calls himself Climer. His name is almost as much of a mystery as the things he carries around in his pocket. From his Shakespearean dialogue to his plaid jacket, this kid is probably one of the biggest characters you will meet on campus.
The way they intro Climer here sounds like some kind of quirky uncle from an old fairy tale. His name is almost as much of a mystery as the things he carries around in his pocket. Also, I'm just gonna go ahead and spill the beans here. If you're described as being a character, most of the time it's not a good thing. Being called a character is just a nicer way of being called fucking strange, and not in like an endearing way, but a way where it's difficult to come up with a real compliment, so they're just like, what a character.
Let's get some details from him and some of his friends.
Probably the thing I like the most about Claimer is that he's not afraid to show his unabashed oddities. The thing that make Claimer who Claimer is.
When watching his friends be interviewed, I just got the feeling that they were very uncomfortable with it, so I thought perhaps Claimer had kidnapped their family and was threatening them like, listen, you're going to mention my oddities and how cool they are, or else. It just feels like he's behind it, like he's still pulling the strings.
For instance, his jacket that he wears all the time. I'd like to call it the coat of many pockets because it has so many pockets and each one of them is filled with just the randomest crap you could find. Like he has a bag of metal wrapped in a Norwegian flag. How do you explain that? That's only something I can imagine Claimer doing.
I can easily explain that actually. He's going for a RAR XD so random approach to living his life. This video is about 10 years old, so it's certainly more popular then. Like, that's half of the shit I used to do in my old gameplay commentary videos, is just combine random shit like tongue of elephant, cum, butthole, wiener. And Claimer has taken that energy and put it into his pocket. I really also feel as though this man is trying to remember lines that Claimer was feeding him. Like, he had some kind of bug in his ear, and he had Claimer on the horn, like, listen, talk about my coat. It's the coat of many pockets, which is a banger name. His proficiency in naming things cannot be understated. That shit slaps. He calls it the coat of many pockets because it has so many pockets. It sounds like some kind of treasure out of Harry Potter.
He carries a rubber chicken in his pocket, tarot cards, scrap of metal. I always feel safe walking with him in Uptown.
Why would you feel safe walking around with him? It sounds like he is the danger. He's got a fucking rubber chicken, a metal pocket, tarot cards. This man is ready for a spiritual war to break out at any moment and engage in some kind of paranormal battle. I wouldn't be surprised if he has a JoJo stand with him too. You should not feel safe around him because he could be attacked by assassins at any moment and you might get caught in the crossfire. Also, why exactly would that make you feel safe in any capacity? Let's just say there's a ne'er-do-well that approaches both of you with a knife and he's like, give me all your money in the wallet. And you're with Claimer. How the fuck is Claimer going to protect you with the things he has in his pocket? What, he's going to get out the rubber chicken and start honking it at him and scare him like a dog? Like, what is he supposed to do? Get out his tarot card and be like, wait, I just drew the death card. You're dead now. Like, how would this at all make you feel safe? I guess maybe his metal pocket, if he took out the metal and threw it at the guy, it could hurt. But it's still not enough to keep you safe.
I'm here with new freshman, Claimer, and you're in the play, right?
Indeed.
How's that going?
Well, it's going chillfully thus far. I'm not, it's a little soon to tell, but I'm feeling good about it.
The man, the myth, the legend, we get to hear from the real Claimer in the flesh. the benevolent deity on college campus who's keeping everyone safe with his coat of many pockets. I love the way he starts this. He immediately goes into like an indeed, like Heimerdinger from League of Legends, and then he's trying to put on a very interesting performance here.
What's your role in the play?
I play Elvis. Indeed.
Tell us about that character.
It's Elvis Presley, the famous 50s, 60s, and 70s person.
And what more really needs to be said about Elvis Presley? Climer's playing him and doing him justice. In fact, I would argue that Climer is a better Elvis Presley than Elvis was himself. Now, I really do see a lot of my old self in this guy, and for what it's worth, I looked up what Climer's doing these days, or at least tried to because this video is so old, and from what I can tell, he's actually been in a couple of movies, and it seems like he's a good sport about this whole thing, so all power to him. This is definitely one of those things that you look back on and you're like, oof, yikes, wish I didn't do that. That's certainly how I feel about my freshman year. It's even kind of similar to some of the mannerisms I tried back then, where you're just like constantly smoldering at every opportunity. He's channeling an anime villain persona here, where he's like intellectually above everyone else on like a different plane, like, oh, yes, I am playing Elvis, the 50s, 60s, 70s famous person, and it is going chillfully. Absolutely, yes, of course.
The singer, songwriter, that sort of thing.
Now, Climer, you're famous for your unique way of talking. We were just wondering how you developed this eloquent way of speaking.
Oh my. Well, I'm not entirely sure, actually. It just sort of happened, and I enjoyed it, and I just sort of stuck with it. The end.
He's going through such a wide range of emotions right now and conveying it all through so many different facial expressions. It's like playing LA Noire and trying to figure out if the person sitting across from you is lying or not. Like, he's striking so many poses. He's basically spamming Fortnite emotes, but with his face. I also get the impression that he's a bit nervous here for this interview. So when asked why does he speak like a Shakespearean villain about to reveal their plan, he doesn't really give an in-depth answer. He just basically says, oh my, well, I did it because I liked it and I wanted to.
All right, so we spoke to some of your friends, and they spoke a lot about some of the things you have in your pocket.
All good things, I trust.
Would you be willing to show us some of those things?
Well, since you asked so nicely, let's do it.
Perfect.
First off, we have my medal pocket, which is tied up in a Norwegian flag.
Okay.
Because I felt like it. We have, all sorts of different things here. First off, we have the thing that breaks the rule, a rock.
His pockets have their own rules. Man's got a perpetual domain expansion inside of himself, and he's able to bend the rules at his will. So in his metal pocket, he immediately pulls out a fucking rock. That's power. If any of you have been around the channel for a while, you'll remember a story I told about how I wanted to wear a Psychonauts disc, like the Xbox disc, around a chain and wear it around my neck, and that I also wanted to be carrying around decks of playing cards in my pockets so I could do magic tricks for women to try and impress them. That's the same energy I get from this guy's metal pocket. Like, he's just having that shit clank around going throughout the day, and maybe it piques someone's interest, like, brother, what do you got in your pocket there? You carrying around a little transformer, an Autobot? What's all that metal banging going on? He's like, well, I'm chillfully glad you asked, good sir. Let's take a peek at what's in this mysterious pocket. You know, one of those things. He sounds like the potion seller guy from that viral meme. It's very, like, it makes me feel like I'm back in my freshman year of college, because I was one step away from doing this same kind of shit. The only reason I never wore that Psychonauts disc or had my playing cards in my pockets is because Kaya told me it'd be a fucking terrible idea. So he saved me from being interviewed in a similar way and having that exist online forever.
This is a piece of an airplane. Oh, that would be just fine. This is a piece of a pocket watch.
Pocket watch?
Indeed. This is a piece of a gate.
A gate.
This is a car door.
Okay.
Peace sign.
Peace sign.
Indeed. Round thing.
So you carry all these things around in your pocket?
Yeah, other round thing.
Unfortunately, he doesn't reveal the lore behind each piece of metal in that pocket. I bet each piece tells its own unique story, and he just didn't have time for it in the interview. I also wonder what the process is like for adding metal to that collection, because you can probably find metal all over the place. I wonder how picky he is. There's got to be some kind of intense process, but he doesn't really describe it very well either. Like, he just pulls out two things and calls it round thing. Imagine it did get really interesting though, like, this piece of metal comes from the Apollo spacecraft, this piece of metal's actually got a little bit of bone fragment on it because this was the bullet that pierced John F. Kennedy. Like, that'd be kind of cool. Then that metal pocket would have a lot of great value.
Do they ever come in handy?
Usually not. If it comes in handy, it goes in my other pockets. My regular pockets. These are just I enjoy them for the novelty of it, don't you know?
Nothing puts me into a state of bliss, euphoria even, than hearing someone drop a "don't you know." That is fire. But it's a good explanation. I like to carry these things in my pockets because I enjoy them. Fair enough. You'll get no argument from me, don't you know?
Now, you had a situation where you actually got stopped by the police, and they saw some of the things in your pocket. What did they say?
Well, first off, they weren't going to search me, but my metal pocket clanked against the car door, so they asked me to empty out all of my pockets. And one thing I carry around is a deck of tarot cards and some other things, I guess, that are strange. So while they were making the report, this was a verbatim quote. "We've got an 18-year-old Caucasian male, driver's license number, my driver's license number. He's some sort of witch doctor."
Those disrespectful fools didn't even realize who they were dealing with. This is no witch doctor. This is Climer. And I'm sure they weren't prepared for the 30-minute process that ensued when they asked him to empty his pockets. I bet that shit just kept coming out like a clown that was pulling the rope from his mouth or whatever. Like, that shit probably dragged on for so long, the cops probably just got bored and left. They're like, "Listen, buddy, it's not that big of a deal. Just go about your day, pick up your shit, put it back in your pockets." Oh my god. But that's where the interview ends, but I've still got many questions for Climer that may never be answered. Like I said, this is one of those things that really reminds me of myself, because to me, it feels like Climer went into college trying to stand out from the crowd, come out of his shell, similar to me. We just chose different paths. I went with the mysterious anime character, so I basically didn't talk at all, which was absolutely the more alarming approach to things, and Climer went down the Shakespearean, wise sage. And I just wanted to show this a little bit because it really did put me back in my freshman year of college when I first saw this. Like, damn, this was me, like 100%. We cut from the same cloth. But anyway, just wanted to share this. That's about it. So yeah.